So in this video, we're demo trading the live markets. So I wanted to show you guys exactly how to find an entry as the market is open and not just back testing right now. So the market closes in about an hour. I wanted to go over this gold trade that I sniped an entry from, and then this I'm pretty sure is going to be a loss. So I wanted to go over that loss just to show you guys how buying at the top or just having a really late entry is going to just screw you over, and you might as well just sit it out and wait for that correction, because here is a very, very bad and late entry when the entry should have been down here, just like how this entry was. But I wanted to go over this loss so that you don't make it in the future, regardless of how juicy and how good the lower time frame looks. If you see something like this and you enter and you know your entry should have been down here, then you know that it's going to be a loss. So let's go over this loss, and we're going to go over this win right here. So this is gold on the 4-hour time frame. So the only markup that I had, right? So I'm going to delete all of this. I'm actually going to remove this as well. Okay, so while we were doing that, we got our stop loss executed here on NAS, which we knew was going to happen, guys. We knew that was going to happen, so let's go over this loss, and we will see later on how you can avoid being in trades like that, because I know that everything was aligning up bullish, but if you notice, we had a really late fill. We bought at the way top of this 4-hour when our entry should have been right here at the break of this 4-hour high. So I know that you guys have been getting into some of these trades, because so have I, not even gonna lie. So let's avoid that. So let's jump from gold to NASDAQ real quick, just to show you guys how I even got that entry, and then how you can avoid entries like that, and where my entry should have been. So this is my 4-hour markup on NASDAQ, right? So we can see that we've very clearly been trending down. So we were very clearly on a downtrend, right? And so the only thing I had marked up on my 4-hour time frame were my key levels. So let's delete all of that and see how I found my key levels. Was I just followed price as it was going down. So right here, this is my lowest point in my chart, right? So right here in the entire chart, I'm not going back years and months. Right now, currently, this is the lowest point in my chart. So all I would do is just follow it on the way up, right? And right here you can see is my 4 for 4. So that's just the easiest way I know how to mark up, is just finding the lowest point, finding the point that it came from, and finding the point that it broke on the way down, right? So that we know above this level we're buyers and below this level we're sellers. This level right here is our indication level, this blue level right here. This right here would be the point where if we break above this level, we're also buyers. And then if we break below this level right here, we're continuing on those sells, right? So that's how I got that markup right there on that 4-hour time frame. All I did was right here, I put a box instead of a line. I like the way it looks. And then right here for this break of structure, my indication level, I left my line there. And then this, I didn't really keep on my chart because price was nowhere near this level. So I just didn't want it to be clustered. And I know either way, if price is approaching this level, I could just remark it. But since price was nowhere near it, that's the markup that I had, right? So I had this level above here, we're buying. This level below here, we're selling, right? So now I was waiting for some sort of indication that was going to tell me where price wanted to go. And right here, we had that indication, right? So this would have been indication, correction, and if it would have continued down lower, that would have been continuation. But we can see that it didn't do that. It instead made a higher support right here, and it broke above this red level. Remember, we have buyers above this level. It broke above, and then if we wanted to see on the 1 hour just a little bit more detail, that just so happens to also be a lower high on the 1 hour time frame, that we broke above. So that is giving me bullish structure now that is indicating that it wants to reverse bullish, right? It's giving me hints right here. It gave me the higher support right here on the 1 hour time frame. We're breaking previous structure, and then we're just continuing higher up. And then I have that 4 hour level marked up right here. Now I can see that on the 4 hour time frame, the structure is breaking, and that is just going to give me a bigger push overall, because if the higher time frame is breaking structure, then that's just going to be a stronger push. That's just the rule of the time frames. You know, the higher the time frame, the stronger the push. All right, so now that we can see that the 1 hour is starting to build that bullish structure, then we had an alert right here that this structure was being broken also. And then we can see right here that the 1 hour time frame still is making higher supports, right? So where was our previous support? It was this one. This was our previous support. We pushed up, 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 and then we made a smaller support right here. Keep in mind that we are also above this 4 hour level. So we know that above this level, if we make a higher low and a higher high above a level, then that's just going to show you that buyers took control over this level. Sellers are no longer here to push it down, and so buyers are now in control. So now you want to be looking for buys. So let's turn on sessions. So the red right here is New York session, right? So all of this happened out of session, and yes, you could have caught this move up here, but right here is if you didn't catch any of this move and you wanted to be completely sure that price was going to be above a 4 hour level, well, here's your break. So here's your small indication on the 1 hour time frame, correction, and then your continuation. Could you have monitored this on a lower time frame? Absolutely. So let's go down to the 15-minute time frame and see if that gave us the information that we wanted to see. So right here we can see that this is that 1 hour support, right? This is the 4 hour level, the 1 hour support. And all we need to see again is bullish structure. So right here we can see that the bullish structure starts to be formed. On the 15-minute time frame, we can see a high, a higher low, a higher high, and a higher low. You could have entered at any of these breaks of the higher highs, right? So you could have entered at the break of this higher high, stop loss below there. You relate there, this high right here is breaking, move your stop loss a little closer, right? And then you just keep following the structure. So why did that fail up here? Well, because if we go to the 4 hour time frame, we caught that at the way beginning of the break of this structure right here. So this level right here, we caught that at a key level. So this is a key level. And let's make it blue. Even if you didn't want to go on that lower time frame, you could have very easily placed a buy above here with your stop loss right below this support and targeted the next level of buyers, right? So that could have been your trade there. But the reason why this failed right here and this right here was a successful trade, right? So we would have entered right here, stop loss right below there, targeted next level of buyers right here. That would have been a successful trade. It would have taken a while to hit, but it would have been successful. Or you could have targeted a simple 1-to-1, or, trailed your stop, do a 1-to-2, 1-to-3. However you trade, that depends on you. But you found your entry, now the exit, that depends on you. So now here, why did this entry fail, right? So if you go back to the 4 hour time frame, let's find our key level again. So we said that this was our target that we were aiming for. So that means that that is also now a key level, right? So this was the last level of sellers that pushed price all the way down before this level started, right? So here's a lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So we're just aiming for this next key level and seeing what reaction happens there. So right here, we can see that we did get a break of structure right here, but our entry came all the way up here. So if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, down to the 1-hour time frame, we can see that New York session started here again. And what do we have? We have all of this continuation from this indication, right? So all of this indicated, and then it corrected, created a higher support down here, and then created another higher support here. And so we know if we break this 1-hour structure, that's a great indication that prices wanted to go back up. But remember, we still need to be above this blue level to confirm that price is definitely on that uptrend. So what I did wrong here is I bought at the way top. Instead, I should have seen right here, this is a break of structure on the 1-hour time frame. Awesome. I should have already been either in the trade if I wanted to go based solely off that break of the 1-hour time frame and trust the higher time frame, then I would have already been in the trade. And my next level of sellers is all the way up here, right? But what did I do instead? I was late to the trade, and so I went down to the 30-minute time frame. Even I think I saw the 15-minute time frame. And I saw right here, we made a higher support right here. Awesome. Higher support right here. Even better, because now we're above this blue zone. So I should have, even if I was late to this trade, I could have entered off the break of this and maybe tightened my stop a little bit more, right? And targeted something like a 1-to-1 or whatever. But I didn't. Instead, I bought again at the way top right here. And again, it wasn't a bad trade, except now I'm just way too far from my key level, and my 4-hour is just, it blew up, it took off, and now I'm at the top right here. Instead, what I should have done is I should have waited for a higher support and a break of that level right here, which I kind of did on the 30-minute. This candle right here that has a wick, this one was open and it was going up. And so I entered just based off that. And then my stop loss was right here. Just because I wanted a tight stop loss, because I already knew I was buying the top. And if it was going to correct, I didn't want my stop loss to be all the way down here. Then I got to deal with all that drawdown. Then my break even is at the top of this indication. And, we've been over that. So I made it a tight stop loss. So if I lost, I lost. Okay. That's my fault for buying the top of the 4-hour candle. And regardless of structure lining up like this, I just was not near any key level. So this is why this trade failed, right? So if I would have entered right here, perfect entry right there. Break of that high, support down there, 1-to-1, 1.5, whatever your target is, right? 1-to-2, you're still having that open trade, but that's you now, right? That depends. The entry, I'm helping you guys find the entry. The exit is now on you, right? You could have entered right here, higher support right here, break of this structure right here. There you go, another 1-to-1 or 1-to-2. Could have aimed for the top of the blue level, whatever you want. That, like I said, the exit depends on you. I'm helping you guys find the entry. I'm showing you where my entry here went wrong, and where I should have waited to buy was above this zone right here. I didn't wait, so that's why I got stopped out. And on the 30-minute time frame, it was looking good, but like I said, that 4-hour time frame just, it blew up. My entry should have been right here, at least right here. I was buying all the way up here. That's why it's failing, right? You want to trade close to key levels. That's something that I learned the hard way, and we just showed it right here on this trade, right? Trade close to key levels. If it's not at a key level, you're entering at some random spot, just might as well. That's where they say that trading pays the people that are patient. I never understood, okay, what do you mean by patient? I mean, be patient for price to be at your key level. That's it. You're not waiting for your structure to be formed. That's half of it, right? You're waiting for your structure to be formed at a key level. What they mean by patience is not just patience for your structure to form, right? Like how I did, patience when you're close to a key level and your structure is forming. All of these were very valid still because you were, you had an indication down here. You had an indication right here. You're above this blue level here. All of that's valid. But this is just too far-fetched now. And the entry should have been above here, not some random spot down there. If I was going to enter off of here, right? Because then that would mean that the 1 hour made a higher support, and then I would be safe to enter. If I would have just waited for this high to break and entered above there, then that would have been safe because we go back to that 1 hour, and the 1 hour would have then made a higher support. So that would have been a safe entry above this level, but like I said, I was just way too early. I was way too far from that key level, and it was just a losing trade. That's just what happens. All right, so now let's go over gold, the entry that I found today on gold, and we can go over the markup here as well. So I'm gonna take all of this off and we're gonna have a clear chart. So here's the 4 hour time frame. And as we all know, it was going on a really, really big downtrend, right? So the daily time frame was also just trending down heavy, heavy. And then right here is when we found support, right? So we've been consolidating for a while. So the reason I found those two levels of consolidation was right here. Price just continued to bounce from these levels, right? And I'm going to make this one white so that we know we're in a range where we have not broken this low right here. None of this level has been broken, right? So we tested it right here, go up. Come back right here, go up. Nothing's breaking. So right here was the last time that we retested this level. Where did this come from? And we can see that this is where that low came from. So sellers came and pushed price all the way down. And so this is that level that we have marked up, right? So this is our range. So price has not broken this low or this high since it has been in this range. So that's the only way that, that's the way that I found my range, and then I adjusted it a little bit more just to be a little bit more clean on my 4 hour time frame. And that's it. I know that if we break this level up here, then we're going to be breaking out bullish. If we break this low right here, then we're going to be continuing that downtrend. So what can I see within this range is still structured, right? Given everything that we know about structure, we can still read it even if it's inside a range. Right here, we can see that price was trending down. Once price reached the bottom of this support, then price broke structure, right? We had this previous high and we broke structure. Then price started to correct, went on a small downtrend, but this push, right? The push that initially got us to this high that broke the structure, it respected this low. We didn't go any lower than this low, and instead we pushed up again. We broke the structure again, and then now it looks like we are trying to figure out where we're going to go. Are we going to go higher or lower? So now that we know what is going on within the range, we can see our most current structure. So right here, I can already tell from the analysis that I did just earlier, this low was respected and we made a higher low. Right here is our higher low. So where did this come from? It came from this lower high right here. And this, I'm going to make a different color, right? So this is not our daily, this is our 4 hour. So this, if we break above here, we have buyers above this level and we have sellers below this level. So where is current price in relation to this level? It's right here. So if we're going to continue on this uptrend, we need to see buys above this level, plus we need to see a higher support. So this is current price right now. Where did that high come from? It came from here, right? This is the last level of sellers that push price down to where price currently is. Where did this level come from? We follow it down, and then here's the level that pushed price all the way up to here. So within this range right here, we're just going to be analyzing our structure on the 1 hour time frame, right? So we know that we want to see price above this level to see some buys. And then once we're above this red level, we would potentially buy all the way to this blue level, right? Because that's the last level that pushed it down. So right here, what's going on the 1 hour time frame is we can see that within this range, right? So even if we delete the red level that we care about, we can just see that within this range, price is starting to change structure. So we have a downtrend going on here, and then we come to this support where previously buyers showed up, and then we can start to reject this level. We make a small lower high here, and then we refuse to go any lower than this. So that's a hint to me that, hey, we're not trying to go lower than this, and if we can break above this level, price is potentially indicating that price wants to go higher. So that's all I did. I waited on the 1 hour time frame. I zoomed down to 30-minute time frame just to see more of an idea of what was going on. And once I saw price start to break this structure right here, then I just got in for a buy. So right here, we can see that we reached the bottom of this support right here, rejected it with these wicks. These candle body closes did not want to go any lower than this. We broke this structure right here, and now we're in the trade, right? I got in a little closer, I think because of the 5-minute time frame. Yes, I got in a little closer right here because of this 5-minute time frame. Made a higher support right here, and then once it broke above, I felt pretty confident. This would have been my stop loss. This could have been your scalp stop loss. Like I said, the entry, I'm helping you guys. The exit depends on you. So if you were scalping right here, this could have been your stop loss, and you got a quick 1-to-1 and you're out, right? If you're holding this trade, you put it down here or even down here, and then you're targeting the next level of sellers, which would be right here, and then that would be your trade, right? So like I said, the exit depends on you. I'm just helping you guys find the entry, and that is the trade that we were in just earlier. And this is all needing a pullback, right? So we would need to pull back right here, and then you could, if you miss this trade here, remember, you're nowhere near a key level, so you have a higher chance of this trade failing and coming down and stopping you out because number one, this is a key level because it broke your structure. This is a key level because it's where you have support. So you entering in like some random area, your risk is a lot higher. Your entry should have came from here, like how ours was earlier. And if not, then you have to wait for that 1 hour to give you that higher support, because if this is just overextended and you keep entering a and you think it's going to print another candle after candle after candle, then you're not following what structure is actually trying to do. You're just, you just want to get into a trade. So follow what price is doing within this range, right? So we broke this 1 hour structure. We got in right at the break. We're not entering randomly here because most likely it's going to come and pull back, stop everybody out. Then it's going to continue higher if that's what it wants to do. If not, remember, you are in a range. So it could be just right here. This is what it could be doing. It could be going up here, then it goes back right down here, and then it continues to bounce. Like, it's in a range, so this is a riskier trade, but it's less risky if you're near a key level, right? So keep in mind everything that you are doing, but also keep in mind where you're placing that trade. And so those are the trades that I wanted to go over, and hopefully it helped you guys find some entries. Like I said, this was a great example for me of a loss. Because that 4 hour was just overextended, right? 1 hour, finally making a higher support. Now would be a safer place to buy above these highs once that 1 hour either closes or, shows you that this is a higher support. But this right here, this was another great example of breaking a key level and entering right at that break of that key level, right? So this is our trade right here. This is a winning trade that you could, like I said, the exit depends on you. I'm holding this up to here just to see. Like I said, this is a demo trade, so I'm trying to see what style I like better, if I like scalping or if I like holding better. And so I'm using my demo account to help me with that. So I recommend you guys try the same, right? So it doesn't matter, don't focus on the money right now. Focus on the strategy, the entry. This perfect because as a demo, like that's no harm to me. I learned something very valuable and it's at zero loss to me. I know now not to enter on these types of trades. I got real life market experience and I can walk away with the same money that I have in my pocket, right? So right here, this is awesome because this is teaching me, okay, perfect. Everything that I've been saying is true, trade at the key level, wait for that higher support. This would have been a good little trade for a scalper because even though that is showing you that the 15-minute made a higher support, that 1 hour is still overextended. So this is a riskier trade overall. But if you're scalping and you wanted to make a quick 1-to-1, this is a risk, that you take. So hopefully this video helped, and let me know if you guys would like to see any more of these live session videos.